So first we have Donna Casa is a former small business owner, homeschool mom, and Sunday school teacher who has been an activist for the DFL party for 8 years. Donna became heavily involved in the DFL party as a local unit officer and statewide member of the executive committee in 2004. She was a founding member and the first chair of the DFL Progressive Caucus and served on the coordinated campaign staff in 2004. Donna was elected associate chair of the Minnesota DFL party in 2005 and is currently serving her 3rd term in party management, where she focuses on fundraising, communications, and grassroots organizing. Donna, welcome. Go, next, we have Tony Sutton. Tony was born in St. Paul, graduated from Hibbing High School, and currently lives with his wife Bridget and their 4 children in Inver Grove Heights. Starting his political work, knocking on doors for Ronald Reagan in 1984, Tony has served on numerous campaigns and Republican committees on both the local and national level, including his work as Executive Director of the Republican Party of Minnesota. Most recently, Tony has served as Secretary-Treasurer of the Republican Party of Minnesota from 2005 and 2009, and was elected chairman in 2009. Tony currently works as the CEO of the Minnesota-based Baja Soul Restaurant Group. Welcome. Thank you, Tony, for being here. We also have Jack Aldrich. He is the author of 9 books, including the award-winning bestseller, The Next Best Thing is Really Small, How Nanotechnology Will Change the Future of Your Business, Into the Unknown, Leadership Lessons from Lewis and Clark's Daring Westward Adventure, and most recently, Jump the Curve, 50 Essential Strategies to Help Your Company Deal with Emerging Technologies. He is the president of the Nano Veritas Group in International Leadership and Technology Consult Group. Sorry about that. Aldrich is a regular contributor on emerging technologies for The Motley Fool and appears regularly on CNBC and CNN to discuss future trends in technology. As a former Naval Intelligence Officer and Defense Department official, Aldrich also served as the director of the Minnesota Office of Strategic and Long-Range Planning under Governor Jesse Ventura. He was elected the chair of the Independence Party of Minnesota in 2009. Jack, thank you very much for being here. Okay, let's start off with the economy, because I think that you and all of folks here, that's probably one of the first things on our mind. So as political party leaders, this issue is top of the list, and I'm sure as you're talking to potential candidates, you're stressing this. So if you could talk a little bit about your specific party's viewpoints and perspectives on how you're shaping the debate on economy and the jobs, your party's ideas on economy and the jobs, and how they differentiate from each other. So we'll start at the far end. Jack, if you want to kick off that question.
Sure. I would say jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what the Independence Party is focused on, because we understand that almost every other issue, from education to health care, to some extent can be addressed by growing this economy. And so how do we do that? First, we create a level playing field and essentially get government out of the way. I mean, really look at reducing regulations. In terms of tax policy, have a fair tax policy. But beyond that, and here's where I think that we begin to differ from the Republicans and the DFL, is to start looking at strategic investments. We can do that at the University of Minnesota, but if we're going to do that, to really make sure that those investments, that the University of Minnesota is held accountable, and we're pulling some of that research out to really create jobs. But when I look at the future, Minnesota has a wonderful opportunity, but we have to do a much better job about thinking long term, and that's what's missing in this whole debate, and I think that's exactly what the Independence Party is going to bring to this debate with our candidates.
Tony, why don't you go next? What is your party doing about jobs and the economy?
Well, absolutely. This coming election is all about jobs and the economy, and how we make Minnesota a better place, frankly, to do business. I mean, frankly, job growth and business growth will solve a lot of our problems in this state. You know, rather than raising taxes on a shrinking tax base, why don't we increase the tax base in this state by fostering growth of business, having more people back to work, and so what the Republican Party is putting forward is an agenda that's really pro-growth agenda, which means it's going to mean some serious reforms in this state. I can tell you, as a small business person, you know, I'm in the consumer end of the business, and so in the restaurants, and so we see the economic upswings and downswings pretty clearly on a day-to-day basis, and we can't leave the state like a lot of businesses, and so we're kind of trapped here. And so we need to make Minnesota a better place to do business, so we can grow jobs, grow the economy. Our party really understands you can't claim to love employment like some parties do, and then hate employers. You can't tax the tar out of people who provide private sector jobs and expect those jobs to exist. On top of that, you know, we have a huge capital drain out of this state, where people, when they get to retirement, they leave Minnesota, not always because of the weather, but because of the huge capital gains hit that they take. Now, it'd be great to keep that money in Minnesota instead of in Nevada or Naples, Florida, or places like that, so that capital can be spent here to grow jobs and foster Minnesota's entrepreneurial spirit, and grow the next 3Ms and the next General Mills and those sorts of things. Because, quite frankly, unless we do that, we're going to just keep putting more and more pressure on an ever-shrinking tax base, and a lot of folks will be, you know, having a zip code down in Florida instead of Minnesota.
Donna, your candidates, what is going to be their focus on jobs? How would they grow jobs?
Well, jobs is obviously at the top of everybody's mind. It's instrumental to the growth of our great state. Our folks think that we need to look at the big picture. We need to look strategically at the long term. We need a mix of strategic investments as well as honest long-term growth initiatives. Modernization of the tax structure is one thing that a lot of our candidates are proposing. Right now we have tax rates of the highest folks at about 8%. We have middle-class folks at 12%. We need to equalize that. We need to be honest about what our priorities are. We need to make sure that our folks are willing to dig in and do the hard work and make the tough decisions so that we can grow our economy.
Okay, so we are going to have you guys take a look at some questions here. So you got your phones back out? Remember the phone number, 99503. So the question that we want to pose to you as the businesses, compared to 2009, how would you describe business conditions thus far in the first quarter of 2010? Worse, about the same, or better? So I'll give you guys a minute here to... Okay, no, oh, there's a worse. I was hoping maybe we wouldn't have a worse. All right, we'll give that a couple more minutes here. So, okay, little optimistic. Well, lost some of it. Oh, we're losing a lot of our optimism. We should do elections this way. Can we do just like real-time voting? You know, I'll gather around at your favorite, you know, watering hole and watch the votes. Okay. So I think what we're seeing here, so about the same or better, I think about 76% of you, if I got my math here right. So let's move on to the second question here. Looking at the predictions in the economy for the entire 2010 then, where do you think we're going to the business community here? Do you think we're going to improve, stay the same, or worsen through the rest of 2010? Okay, there's one really negative person. I can hear the beeping of the phones. Okay. All right, let's, oh, okay. All right, there we go. So we're moving a little bit here, but I think, oh, okay.